Managing burnout and managing your redlining is an integral part of chasing higher performance or chasing more, and also making sure that you don't get less. The ability to continue doing what you want at a high rate requires you to manage how much you push, but then how much you pull. Each of us will have gone through a period, if you're in your mid-20s, at some point where you've pushed the boat out too much. You've gave too much effort without little recovery, and you've put yourself in a little bit of a hole, shall we say, when it comes to probably your mood, your energy, your outlook on things. And you've had some time off, or hopefully you've had some time off, and you've reinvigorated that enthusiasm that you had. Now, managing that so that you don't have to get to that point every single time is absolutely critical to ensure that you take this linear path as best as you can to higher performance. Like for me, my burnout symptoms and the things that I do is I just don't enjoy work anymore. I end up not doing anything in the evenings because I'm so tired, and therefore I don't actually have any personal time to myself. I feel dejected and don't like the things I do daily because I don't have that time. I start getting spots. I start not sleeping very well and waking up in the middle of the night. And then for me, hunger is a massive thing as well. That just goes through the roof when I'm in this state. I'm always thinking about food. And as you want to progress in your performance, whether your business, your life, you're an entrepreneur, coach, whatever you are, you being able to manage that is a determinant factor on how many times you hit that button every single time over the year, which then means that you have to take 4 steps back to then take the next step forwards. Whereas if you manage your redlining and you manage those symptoms and you utilize them as subjective data and keep on top of them and keep on top of things, or be on the ball, as we call it at Autonomy MVP, be on the ball throughout the year so you never reach that point, or you test it a little bit and then you pull back. And instead of taking 4 steps back, you take 1 step back and then you go 4 forwards. So managing those. So to be able to do that, you need to find those symptoms. If you've never got to a point of where you know some symptoms like sleep is compromised, your training, your mood, energy, food intake kind of moves away, your structure suffers, have a think about what happens when you get that way. What happens when you get overwhelmed? What happens when you get tired and the markers that you see just fall to the wayside? And normally the first things that fall away are the things that actually help the most, but it's our subconscious brain of going for the easy option as opposed to the right option. So once you have those markers, you have to continually monitor them. So either a monthly review, quarterly, weekly, whichever way you look at it. You've got to say, okay, am I feeling like this? Where is my mood on a scale? Am I giving myself time in the evenings to myself? Am I breaking my rules around, like, if I want to, not burn out, I've got to make sure that I spend time reading a book in the evening, having no phone, playing PlayStation, doing some drawings or doing journaling or whatever it is. I have to do something in the evenings. And as soon as they go, that's normally a sign for me to say, I'm heading down a road of overworking here. So you have to continually check, okay, am I doing those things? Am I breaking my rules? Am I doing 5 days of PlayStation, or am I doing 5 days of 30 minutes reading? And if not, is it because I'm poorly managing things, or is it because I'm getting to the point of where I'm doing more work and things are picking up there, so therefore I don't do them? And once you manage those variables, you can then say, I can optimize and you can monitor. So you can find what really, really works for you. And with the rules play, with the ability to implement like weekly check-ins and say, okay, this is working for me this week. I don't feel as overwhelmed. I feel like this is a better stance. And see how long you last whilst giving a lot of effort to that redlining. When you reach that threshold, then take a step back by either deloading, moving away, doing more of the stuff that you really enjoy, schedule a weekend away, and get off your phone for a weekend, spend some time with your loved ones, whatever you do, and then you come back and see how that progresses. And hopefully what should happen is that you should have a period of time where maybe you're not managing it too well at the moment, but like you'll have 6 weeks where it's all well and good, and then after 6 weeks it goes shit. And then you then implement some strategies around about managing that, and then you get to a 10-week or 12-week mark instead of a 6-week mark, and then you've lasted 50% extra. And therefore you can then go longer and do more without having the negative side effects. As well as that, a beautiful thing that happens is that when you manage and optimize those variables, you can put more effort in over that time period as well, because you're recovering better, your lifestyle factors are much better. And if you're managing them on a week-to-week basis, like you're checking in with yourself or with a coach, you can then push harder in those variables to then structure that time off when you need to. And you can get 10, 12, 20 weeks into a pushing phase of your business or your life or your training without needing to take a step back or too many steps back to continue progress. We know that continuous effort and consistency and putting it in daily is going to be the key fundamental. And when you can make that happen at a higher intensity and for longer, we know that's going to be a really, really good factor. So managing your redlining, managing your burnout symptoms, managing what they are for you and how to navigate that is something that we do at Autonomy MVP. And that's how we manage to get people performing at a higher rate for a longer period of time. But you definitely want to consider what your redlining symptoms are, find them, and see what makes them good, see what brings you joy when you do them, and see what falls away when you start getting that overwhelm, when you start putting that high levels of effort in, because that'll be a good determinant to see, well, what you need to change going forwards.